Well, hello, Gulls fans. It's good for you to see us. I'm Andy Zilch with Kevin Dineen. We'll hopefully get to see you very soon, but in the meantime, we'll catch you up with everything that we have going on. And it's a pleasure to be joined by the head coach of the San Diego Gulls. Coach Dineen, thanks a lot for doing this for us.
Hey, Andy. It's not like I had much else going on, so pleasure's all mine. Not only to join you, but some of the folks decide to watch us as well.
So one of the questions to kickstart is where are you? What have you been doing? And how are you holding up?
Well, we stayed in San Diego here. My wife, I have 4 children. We started with 3 here, and we lost my daughter, decided to head back to Boston to get closer to her job, and she got an apartment there, get settled back into her setup, and trying to discourage that. But anyway, she did get back, and I have a son who is actually playing in the USHL in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and he's in town right now as well. So we've got a pretty good representation of Dineens around here. So my daughter's actually in the same business as she. She's a newscaster for NBC out of Portland, Maine. So we get to watch her on air every night and kind of stay close to video and different kind of conferencing through video as family as well.
It's got to be an interesting aspect for her. How is she handling this on the news side of things, and then also personally?
Yeah, she is. You know what? We're excited to see. I'm certainly up on whatever's happening in Portland, Maine. I end up watching that news almost as much as I watch the San Diego news. But she's done a really good job. She has had a number of stories that have had a major focus, obviously, on the virus here the last 2 weeks. And what they've done is they've taken, she was a weekend anchor, and put her out in the field, and she is covering different stories that may relate to Maine and how people are affected. But she's doing a great job, and it's good to be able to, like a lot of things, stay out in touch with her through the internet.
You talk about your son and playing in the USHL, and now his season is done. How has he been handling that? I mean, it's got to be tough as a young hockey player to have something cut short that he was trying to get after.
Yeah. You know what? I thought we might be able to hear him stick handling in the background. He's driving me a little nuts here in the backyard. He's out. He's doing loops around the neighborhood. Fortunately, we've got our streets are well paved, and he's done a good job of out there blasting around on the rollerblades. So he's getting a little time, but I think he's like every hockey player. Doesn't matter if you're in the NHL or you're a kid that's playing Pee Wee in our local leagues here with the junior Gulls. I think they're all going a little stir crazy and are certainly missing the ice.
So he's got actually a really big season coming up ahead, and not only on the ice, but off the ice as well. As he's going to
nice.
be there we go.
Yeah.
And he's going to be going to Yale as well, too. So I'm sure he's got to be pretty anxious. And is there any nervous tendencies from him heading to such a prestigious university?
Well, we're very proud of what he's accomplished on the ice and certainly off the ice. And I'd like to say it's a family joke, but I think it's the family truth that he might have got my legs and mom's brains. And you know what? It's been an interest to me because at this level, they don't go directly into school. So he has a year off from attending studies, but he's in touch with coaches at Yale, and he's excited not only about his junior season, but about getting ready for school. So it's an exciting time. I think you're always nervous when you make a big step, and it's, you know what, it's no different than a kid coming out of junior or college and stepping into pro hockey, and we see that a lot at this level. So it's to be able to share some of those experiences with him.
So let's take a step back about 2 weeks ago and had a really momentous victory against the Tucson Roadrunners. And the coaches might be a little bit different from the players with access to the news that was going on that night. But once the game ended, everybody knew the news. And after such a big win like that, what was being discussed amongst the locker room, you and the coaches? What were you guys mind at that time?
Well, it was a unique period, I think, for all of us, because you take a young player like Criscolo, who had joined us at the trade deadline, played 7 games on the road, has not played at Pechanga yet, which is kind of funny. That big team, he was a big part of our road trip, and still hasn't seen our home rink. So to be on a long road trip like that, I think we're all looking forward to getting home to play in front of our own fans, to get back, maybe get some dry cleaning done, just to unpack your bags. And then all of a sudden, reality set in, and we did all realize that there was going to be some major changes, not only in our profession, but in our lives. And I think at that point, there was just so much, just lack of knowledge what was going to happen or where we were going to go. So we ended up getting on a plane, getting back to San Diego, and I think you were there, Andy. We had a quick meeting at the airport, and then followed up with some emails and some information for the players. And at that time, we just, went from hockey mode to making sure our players were safe. And I don't there's that don't want to be dramatic, but safe means a place where they were going to be comfortable, where they were going to be at a place that they had the people that they cared about, and family and friends close by. And over the next couple of days, players slowly made decisions and decided, or very abruptly made decisions to get on planes to go home, or to make the decision to stay here in San Diego.
What kind of emotions were you going through in that 24-hour time span? I mean, that had to be very intriguing, that you had such a big win where you're like, all right, now let's get, and then all of a sudden the season gets put on hold.
Well, to reach back to the hockey part of it, I think for one, we felt like we were playing as good as we had played all year. And I think our team had balance. I think we had a lot of momentum going with our lines, with the way we were playing. We felt like we would have been a formidable opponent for anybody. And we were really looking forward to showing that at home, and could really feel things start to come together. So a little frustration that we were the season was put on hold. I think after a few days, I really dropped to the wayside. I was like, hey, you know what? At this time, like everybody, work's not important. Your family's important. The people you care about. And I will say I was really, really proud of the Gulls and the Anaheim Duck organizations, with the timeliness, the quality of information that was going back and forth, and support to get players where they wanted to be.
So after that meeting that you had at the airport, where you just kind of told players, hey, I'll be in contact with you, what was the contact point moving forward? Were you just telling them, hey, get with your families and then move forward with that?
Yeah. I think last week, towards the end of the week, I waited a few extra days to give everybody a chance to get acclimated, but made a phone call to every single player and had a chat with them, and kind of got an idea what their game plan was and where they were at. And just wanted to make sure that, they knew we were thinking about them, that we wanted to make sure that we were here for them if they needed anything on this end. And that was our number one priority, was just making sure that they knew that they had a support system through work, that we'd work out the hockey side of things for them, just to get to a place where they were comfortable, and they could wait their waiting period to get into some isolation, and make sure that not only they were safe, but those around them as well.
Now that we're almost 2 weeks into this, what have your contact points been with the players and the coaching staff?
We send out we get a daily email from the NHL and internally from the Anaheim Duck organization. And, I think anybody, you can say, well, everybody wants to act a certain way when you have challenges. But I tell you what, the transparency, and the amount of information that's been flowing, I think, is just so important to staff, to employees, to even people that are in a leadership role. So we felt like we were getting that information from our respective bosses, and any way we can translate that to the players. We've been a few emails and are staying in touch on that front. And we went through a process this week, and I know Dallas Eakins is in the process of reaching out to every player in the organization this week. So it's not a phone call every day, but certainly every 3 or 4 days, we're making sure not only on their well-being, which is our medical staff is reaching out every 3 days to check in and get an update on the players and their families, but also just a check-in from the organization on their own well-being.
I got one more team-related question, then we can kind of jump into some more fun content. But the last question I have for you, this is an athletic-based sport, and you're telling guys whose main concern is their body and their well-being, their diet, to keep that in check. With that being said, what are you doing with these guys, or what is being preached to these guys to keep that build going?
Well, I think one thing that I have seen such tremendous growth in professional sports is on the strength and conditioning. And we are very fortunate to have Justice Schaefer and Colin Redden. So literally to have two guys at the American League level is just fabulous. And you really do need it because you carry a large staff. There's a lot of bodies that are around. Some guys are in rehabilitation stages during the course of the year. So as we've done all year long, we have a tremendous amount of trust in those two guys to go and do their job. And they're in the process now in concert with the medical teams and the strength and conditioning teams out of Anaheim, putting programs together that are individually based. They're not just sending out a mass email and saying, here's your workout. They are, we're going through a process talking about what they need as players, what they need as professional athletes to have success. So that's in the works right now. We have a conference call again tomorrow on that subject, and we'll keep moving forward to make sure that it's not just if and when we come back, it's to try to help them maximize all their potential in their careers.
Have they put a coach's workout together for you and the other coaches too?
It's that has not happened. I know there's a lot of biking going on. I think these guys got these high-end road bikes out there. I'm a little more tentative on these road bikes in California. So I stick to the mountains up in Poway, and unfortunately, with the amount of rain that we've had lately, we've kind of got to stay off those trails till they dry up. But you know what? We're getting out. We spend a lot of time in the area and get to enjoy a little bit of outdoor times, and always respecting our 6 feet of space.
What else have you been doing with your free time? Generally, that's a question that encompasses maybe about 2-3 hours for you on a normal daily basis, but now it's probably a little bit larger, right?
Well, we went through a whole process for Dallas's upcoming phone calls. We gave a little bio and a little feedback on every player in the organization, that come through San Diego this year. Give him a chance to get a little more personal on those conversations with players. We've put together video clips of every player that, it's not just one shift. It's clips of areas of their strengths and areas they continue to work on. So we're keeping busy on the work side and keeping those lines of communication, getting a little review on our systems, working through those areas, things. And we're very fortunate. I've got every game from this season on my computer, so you can do a lot of work right here from home by video. So that's been keeping us busy. I do have 2 teenage boys around here, so I know there's a lack of sporting coverage on TV right now. I think it'd be I could put together a pay-per-view of these two fighting over a extra pork chop at dinner. I think that would make some good entertainment. And I'm sure that's going on in a lot of homes. You know what? A lot of teenagers that are a little bored and are a little bit on each other's nerves.
Well, I saw the groceries come through just a little bit ago. You're a really good cook.
Yes. Well, you know what? We've been switching off and on. The boys are helping out with dinner every night. That's part of their learning curve to pick up. My mother-in-law's in town, who's a fabulous cook. So we've kind of been flipping back and forth every night and deciding who's in charge of the dinner table. But the boys have certainly been helpful on that front.
And with the trash too, I see, right?
Did we get one? I think that might have been a setup somehow to get some. Yeah.
Did your wife tell him to come out with the bag?
Yeah, exactly. So
any new hobbies that you found yourself running into here?
Well, we really do enjoy mountain biking, and you know what? We've been around. There's a tremendous amount of trails in Poway, Tecolote. There's a canyon just over by San Diego State. That's a neat little ride. We went down to the border, actually, the Tijuana, the Friendship Park, which is literally right where the beach meets the border, and did a little ride around there. Really cool spot. Had the whole place to ourselves. So, you know what? Getting out a little bit, and again, trying to be very respectful of the rules that are in place, but it seems like a lot of trails right now. We got a lot of free time and a lot of space to ourselves.
I know there's been a lot of talk about what show to watch on Netflix or what book to read. Is there anything that you've time with?
Oh boy, I am a big reader. I just there's a book, Devil in the White City. It's based on the World's Fair in Chicago in the late 1800s, and I wish I had that author's name right in front of me, but went and got a couple of his books because it's kind of like historical nonfiction, a lot of fun books to read. So that's keeping me busy. I try to mix in one kind of coaching or motivational or management book a week just to try to stay up on that. I end up kind of getting my highlighter out there and just highlighting a few points, kind of going through those kind of books. But yeah, we're getting outside a little bit. We've got a nice golden retriever, so he's keeping us on our toes and needs a good walk every day as well.
That's awesome to hear. One final thing, is there anything that, I know you've made a message to the fans about a week and a half ago, but now that we're in the thick of this, is there anything else that you'd like to say to the fans at this point?
You know what, just more about, I think it's been really neat, whether you're talking to your fans, your family, your neighbors, you know what, it's, hey, how you doing? I think that's always important when you're reaching out to people and know that you're thinking about them. And we certainly are fans. The amount of support that I've seen this year, we got off to a stinky start. These folks stuck with us, and a little disappointing. They probably didn't see us out at our best, and that road trip that we had at the end. In saying that, our only concern now is their health and well-being, and we look forward to seeing them when we're allowed to see you.
All right, Coach, I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Take care and stay safe.
Okay, Andy. You take care, pal.